So, don't let anybody tell you that you can't manage a property, especially an Airbnb, vacation rental, whatever you want to call it, from far away, because that's not true. That's just absolutely not true. I've got 5 of them, man. I'm managing 5 of these things remotely with a day job.
Welcome to Live, Let Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello.
We are back
To another
exciting episode of
Live,
Let
Thrive. We're working on that intro, man. Just our fans out there, yeah. Y'all heard that laugh? That we have a guest today, don't we?
Oh yeah. We got another guest. We got Mr. Luke Carl.
Yeah, give it up for Luke. I've been told you want to go by Luke instead of Lucas.
Either way, man, it depends on if I'm signing checks or what I'm doing, but yeah.
So the most interesting thing about your name is your name's Lucas Carl. Are you a fan of the show Luke Cage on Netflix?
I don't know anything about that show other than somebody who's asked me that exact same question before.
I figured, because your name's Lucas Carl. His name's Carl Lucas. I figured you guys.
All right. We're on episode 35, by the way, for those of you keeping track of Live, Let Thrive, a podcast about Airbnb life, share economy, VRBO, all that fun stuff, And real estate, yeah, we tackle real estate too. We all met on Bigger Pockets, so yeah, huge Bigger Pockets fans. So ready to roll, man. How you been, Myka?
I've been good. You?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
So tired as hell, man. What they don't tell you on the Airbnb brochure is that it's actually work.
Yeah, it is. So, Lucas, how long have you been an Airbnb host?
I've been in the game for just over a year, so I'm pretty new.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I've only been in about not even a year yet. So, it's good you're already moving.
I started mid-October of this year. So we're all kind of newbies. Yeah, this year, mid-October. And I've already had plenty of ups and downs in that short period of time.
All right, so what kind of places do you host? Like, you do like private rooms, entire places? What you got?
So I'll just go back a little bit even further than that.
Okay.
Wifey and I moved here. We weren't even married yet, but we met in New York City, 2000 something, and
good thing she's not in the room.
Yeah, she's the brains of the operation. We'll talk about that later. But we moved to Nashville about 5 years ago, and Nashville, as I'm sure you guys know, is completely, just absolutely on fire. And when we first moved here, coming from New York City, where a 600 square foot apartment is $1 million, real estate was not an option.
Right.
At the time, I'm a rock and roller. I've always been a rock and roller. And in New York City, I was in the bar business. I had a rock and roll bar. So,
sweet.
My father's a Vietnam vet and a retired mailman. My mom is a hairdresser. I come from some pretty humble roots, and real estate just never even crossed my mind, even just to buy a house to live in. And then met my future wife. We quickly moved to Nashville. She's from the South originally. As a matter of fact, I know you guys are both from Texas. She went to UT in Austin.
Oh, okay.
She got her undergrad at UT and played soccer for UT and actually has a Big 12 championship ring for University of Texas. She's a stud.
Oh, shout out. Okay.
Yeah. So she wanted to move closer to family. She's from Mississippi. So we moved. We ended up, we kind of was like, okay, we want to go to a rock and roll town or a music town, but somewhere big enough, but somewhere small enough. So it kind of came back down to Austin or Nashville, and she says, I've already done Austin. Let's go to Nashville. So we came to Nashville, like I said, about 5 years ago, and just kind of looked around and just like, oh my God, like just real estate is just absolutely on fire here. Everybody's talking about it. People that you just would never expect to be talking about real estate, like these long-haired dudes in bands and country music guys, just everybody. And like, you know, I work my day job. I work in rock and roll radio, so that's kind of the life I'm surrounded by that constantly. So it's like people you would never expect to be talking about owning a home are literally coming up to me and talking to me about the fact that they just bought a home or the fact that they just bought a rental home. And I'm just like, what is going on here? So we ended up, make a long story long, we bought our first house, which I'm in right now. I'm in my office in the house, that my first house I ever bought, which we live in. We still own it.
When did y'all buy that?
We bought it in 12.
Okay.
So 4 years ago.
So that was like $100,000 ago?
What's that?
That was about $100,000 ago?
Something like that, yeah.
Depreciation's crazy, man.
Oh, yeah, appreciation, yeah. Well, crap, yeah, I don't mind throwing numbers out there. But anyway, so shortly after we bought this house, we said, you know what, we've got to get another house to rent out. And we didn't even know what that meant. But we said we got to do it, and we set ourselves a budget. And at the time, about 4 or 5 years ago, we were kind of looking at East Nashville, which is like the hip kind of area, like the, you know, like the artist kind of area.
The Black Keys, baby.
Exactly. And what's his name moved down here too?
Jack Black,
the White Stripes guy. Yep.
Jack Black.
Jack
White. I'm sorry, Jack Black's the actor.
Yeah.
One of those guys. Yeah, so, you know, very hip area. Anyway, so we said, let's save up. We didn't know anything about anything, right? So we're like, okay, let's do the quick Google searches. Okay, investment properties, 20% down. So we said, let's save for $100,000, and so 20% down and see what we can do. And we literally lived on $30 a day each for 10 months, and that was our goal. And we hit it. We hit the 20 grand just by being, you know, living well below our means and being, you know, smart about our money.
Right.
And actually, it might have ended up being. Don't quote me on the amount of months. It could have been 14. I don't know. I don't remember the period of time. But so we hit it, and then guess what? We go out looking for houses, and you can't find anything for 100.
Uh-huh.
Things had just gone so high. So we ended up finding one. It was just right place at right time. We had this real estate agent that was a friend of a friend, and he called us one day, and we were at lunch actually around the corner, and he said, "There's one just went on the market. You want to go look at it?" And he gave me the address, and I put it in my phone. We were there in like 2 minutes. We looked at this house, and we were like, "Man, it's a little more than we can afford, but it seems to be priced a little low." So we went full price offer on this thing, and we got it. And next thing you know, there's houses right around the corner that are selling basically the exact same house, same builder for like 50 grand more than we paid, you know. And so anyway, that was our first rental house. We rented out to, we've got great tenants in there. Love to talk about tenants a little bit more, but they're awesome. The tenants are fantastic, and the house is doing great. And so that was our first step into the rental thing.
Let me ask you real quickly. Y'all didn't never consider doing house hacking to get to the second house?
So we never heard of that. At this point, we hadn't heard of Bigger Pockets. We hadn't read any books about anything. Hadn't even gotten to Rich Dad Poor Dad yet at this point. We just literally saw what was going on in Nashville and said, okay, we should probably get in on this. Not knowing at the time that we were too late, basically, but it worked out on that first house, and that kind of led us to the second house. It's like, all right, we made it work. What are we going to do next? And that's what led us to Airbnb, because we could not find anything in our area. So we said, okay, how do we manage a house with tenants in it from far away? And our first gut instinct was like, well, let's try this vacation rental thing. But to answer your question, we didn't even know what house hacking was.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know either until Bigger Pockets.
Had we known,
I did it on accident.
We tried that
myself.
out. We still don't have kids. You know, we're kind of on the young. She's 30. I'm 37. So we could have totally house hacked at least once or twice.
Right.
we just didn't know what it was, you know.
Yeah.
So what was it? You bought your investment house, right? Was your second house, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How big was that house?
That's a 3.3 actually. It's a 3.2.5.
Okay.
Nice.
It's pretty decent size. It's 1,600 square feet.
Wow.
It's basically the same size as the house we live in.
Okay. And did you guys immediately start Airbnb-ing that, or?
This one we long-term rentals right out of the gate.
Okay, you did a long-term.
Yeah, it's not in Nashville. It's in what I guess you would call a suburb of Nashville. But Nashville, Airbnb and Nashville don't get along. We didn't even know that at the time.
Oh.
It's just not something we didn't think about. It didn't cross our minds. We just wanted to get a rental property and put somebody in there long term, just to kind of, save for retirement kind of thing. And looking back on it, Airbnb, it's a good thing we didn't go down that road because it's very difficult in Nashville.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I cut Myka off. So why the hell Nashville of all places? Why did that experience this huge boom,
Not being from here, it's difficult for me to answer that question. And we kind of moved here when the boom was already going. It's definitely exponentially crazier than it was when we did move here.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of the perfect storm. You've got a ton of industry. You got a ton of industry moving in all the time. You got Bridgestone building skyscrapers all the time, and you've got Nissan, the headquarters of Nissan here. You've got an NFL team. You've got a
Predators,
hockey team.
Yeah,
exactly. We were in the Stanley Cup last year. So it's like it's a big city, but it's not too big. We don't have an NBA or NFL or baseball, so we're kind of like just under 1 million. And when I say we, I'm not from here, so I'm just doing my best to explain it from an outsider's perspective. But
yeah,
just the amount of industry that's here, and 5 years ago you could get a house for $100,000,
right,
with 3 bedrooms and a bathroom and be just fine. Now prices are through the roof. 5 years ago, these $100,000 houses are now $300,000 easily.
Jeez.
It's pretty similar to what she went through down in Austin. So I get a very similar vibe, having not been in real estate when Austin went through its boom, and it seems to be still going through its boom.
Yeah, Austin's expensive, overly expensive, crazy. So
it's getting to be that way here. So like for instance, if you buy a house today in Nashville or like an East Nashville area, you're looking at $250-ish on the low end, and the house is probably only going to rent for like $2,000. So you're kind of losing money.
Oh yeah,
$250. And how big's the house? If like for $250?
I haven't been paying attention to this market in quite some time, but for $250, you're looking at probably 900 square feet.
Wow. $250 here will get you. $250 here will get you what? 3,000 square feet.
Yeah, to get you.
I'm coming down there.
Yeah, it'll get you 3,000.
Everybody's coming down here, man.
Yeah, we had 700,000 people move to the DFW Metroplex this year.
Shoot,
so,
yeah.
so
he doesn't Airbnb. Nashville's not.
I
friendly
do.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, okay. Well, then what was the?
That was the next question. Okay. Which one of your properties do you Airbnb?
So that was a really long story to tell you kind of how I got started. So then eventually, we said we want another house. What are we going to do? And then we fell in love with the Smoky Mountains as soon as we moved here. They're about 3 hours east, and it is a vacation area, right? So Avery and I, my wife, we camped out there several times, just Memorial Day type stuff. And one day we were like, okay, it's time to start settling down and get another investment. So she goes, I remember exactly where we were. We were in my truck, and she looked at me. She goes, they got cabins out there in those mountains. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Now I grew up in Nebraska, and we used to go to Wyoming every year. And my grandfather's fishing buddy, they grew up together. He had a cabin out there, so we would all go out there and go fishing. My grandfather's cabin in the mountains. So I've always dreamed of going back to those mountains. And then actually one day I was on the phone with my grandmother, and I go, man, I would love to get a cabin out there in those mountains and see if there's some way I can make some money off of it, or just, pay the rent, pay the mortgage at least. And she said to me, she goes, why are you worried about the mountains in Wyoming? You got your own mountains right down the road. So the whole thing just kind of clicked. And Avery and I, we started looking at cabins in the Smoky Mountains, specifically in an area called what is Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. And so we looked for like 6 months, and we finally found one, and we bought it, and that became our first Airbnb. Technically, it's an Airbnb, I guess. Now, to me, there's a difference between a vacation rental and
an
quote-unquote Airbnb.
Me too. Go ahead. Actually, go into that, because a lot of people don't know that. Go into that.
So Airbnb has just become this kind of name. It's the same as Uber type thing, And you can Airbnb anything. You can Airbnb a hammock,
Yeah.
So to me, a vacation rental, and I don't want to talk badly about Airbnb because they do we love it. Definitely our favorite platform. We use HomeAway, we use VRBO, we use TripAdvisor. Waste of time. Personal opinion.
It is.
Personal opinion.
Go ahead.
But Airbnb. When Airbnb is dead and gone, and whether it's Airbnb or let's just go so far as the internet is dead and gone, right? My cabins are still going to be standing there, and people are still going to want to stay in them when they're on vacation, when they're on their honeymoon, when they're on their anniversary. So Airbnb and a vacation rental are two different things. Mm-hmm. You can Airbnb a closet in your house to some exchange student that has no money.
That's a good idea. Great idea. I'm going to write that down.
And people do that. People do it every day. They do it every day. I saw this guy. He's like, I saw an article the other day. I was the first person to Airbnb a hammock. And his story was awesome. I mean, his story was ridiculous. It was really awesome story. But I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, that hammock is going to blow away in the wind someday. And my Airbnb and my cabins are still going to be standing there unless I neglect them. There's always that. You can always have a terrible owner on these properties, and then they'll go away. But when Facebook's gone, when Twitter's gone, when Airbnb's gone, and there's some other new thing, and I'm not saying it's going to go away. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that the only way you can get rid of my cabins is to burn them down, and God forbid, knock on wood. To me, there's a difference between a vacation rental and a quote-unquote Airbnb. Now, if that did sound like somewhat of a knock on Airbnb, I'm going to go ahead and praise them right now. They're the best thing going, absolutely 100%. Man, they smoke. They smoke, in my opinion. These are all opinions. I'm no expert of any kind. I'm not a licensed anything. But, VRBO has its ups and downs. Mostly it's downs. Airbnb has its ups and downs. Mostly it's ups, and that's just kind of where I sit on it. We've got five. We've got five that we manage. My wife and I manage them together, so we kind of delegate things into different. And we'll get into more management in a minute. But let me wrap up this first story. So between the five of them, we're sitting right at probably at least 75% Airbnb, and then 25%-ish. I'm just guessing. I'm totally guessing. VRBO, HomeAway. Now with VRBO and HomeAway, I don't even know which one is doing better because to me they're the same company. It's the same app on my phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So whether they're booking it through HomeAway or VRBO, I have no idea. I don't even care. But between the two of those, I'll just guess, just throwing a random number out there, I'd say it's about 25% VRBO HomeAway. And then we have tried other ones, like I said, TripAdvisor, and there's FlipKey, and they all just kind of prove to be completely worthless.
Yeah. Okay. Because I just started. Have you tried Booking.com?
I have not personally tried it. but and maybe I should, but I'm saying like 100% booked all the time. So to me, it's like, yeah, what's the point, man? It's just another platform to annoy me. another app to be lighting up with messages all the time.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, in my market, in the Smoky Mountain market, it seems to be that most hosts are getting more action from VRBO than they are Airbnb. It just happens for whatever reason with Avery and I. Maybe it's because we're on the younger side. Maybe it's because we have iPhone. We're iPhone folks, you know.
Yeah.
We seem to get more we get way more action from Airbnb. And when I first started, I tracked down a guru. This is a pretty decent story. So we decided we want a cabin in the mountains. And so first thing I did, I went on Airbnb. I didn't even know what VRBO was. But I'd used Airbnb before, you know. So I went on Airbnb, and I typed in the area out there where we were kind of looking at cabins, and I found people who, and at the time, I didn't even realize this was happening. It was all kind of happening simultaneously. And this is a great piece of advice for anybody just starting. I went on there, and I said, all right, let me find out who on here looks cool, who's got the most reviews, who's got a property that looks like something that I would want to own. And let me send these people a message. And this is the kind of dude I am, man. I get obsessive. When I decide I want something, I just go all in, and I ask stupid questions to everybody I can find. And if I can't get an answer, I go to the guy right next to him, and I ask the same damn stupid question. You know, I just never stop. So I went on Airbnb. This was just my first idea, and it totally worked. It was difficult, but it worked. So I went on Airbnb. I went to the area. We were looking at buying cabins, and I found like, I would say like 50 people that I thought were worth sending a message to. And I literally just cut and pasted this same message to all of them. And I said, hey, wifey and I don't even know if we were married yet. Yeah, we probably were. Anyway, so wifey and I, we're looking at buying a cabin out there, you know, like a second home kind of thing, and we'd like to rent it out and see if we can, you know, cover the mortgage, basically. You know, obviously we had goals of doing more than covering the mortgage, but in the very beginning, I don't know anything about anything. I'm scared to death. Like, at least if I can cover the mortgage, I'll take it from there, you know. So of those 50 people that I messaged, I would say I literally got about 8 of them to write back. And of those 8, I would say 6 of them were property managers disguised as real people. And the last 2 talked to me. And one of them ended up becoming a guru to me. You hear this term, and we can go ahead and I'll bring up Bigger Pockets. That's why I found you guys. I'm a Bigger Pockets guy. I love it. I listen to the podcast every week. I'm on the forum all the time. I'm on the vacation forum all the time. You know, it's a wonderful way to educate yourself, and also to there's some negatives about it too. We can get into that later, but so I found 2 people that would actually talk to me, and one of them ended up being my first quote unquote guru, and she was awesome. June was her name, and I still talk to her to this day. She has two cabins in our market, same area, and she was kind enough to just kind of, you know, she wasn't always super quick to get back to me because I tend to ask a lot of questions, especially when I don't know what I'm doing. And but she was the only person that would like write me back at all out of these 50. And looking back on it, I should have sent another 50 the next week and another 50 the week after that.
Yeah.
You know, but it ended up working out that I found this woman, June. She lived in Memphis, so it was a similar vibe to us. We live in Nashville, so she was like twice as far as we were. Because that was, in the beginning, one of our biggest concerns, like, oh my, how are we going to manage these things from 3.5 hours away? Is that going to be a problem? So right away, she wiped that out. You know, she just made that sound like it was no big deal at all because she's doing it from twice as far. She's got 2 of them. And I'm like, well, she can do it. And she had a day job. And her husband had a day job. So, don't let anybody tell you that you can't manage a property, especially an Airbnb, vacation rental, whatever you want to call it, from far away, because that's not true. That's just absolutely not true. I've got 5 of them, man. I'm managing 5 of these things remotely with a day job.
Hey,
and I got no problems with it whatsoever. I can't wait to get my next one.
Nice.
Hey, since you said yours are more vacation rentals, do you have a heavy down season?
So, wonderful question, and no. So our market, it's one of the beautiful things about our market. Number one, Tennessee, the property taxes are extremely low. Our sales tax is high, and on a vacation rental, you do have to pay sales tax, so you got to keep that in mind. But our property tax is low, and our weather is fantastic. So it's a vacation area, right? It's no different than the Grand Canyon or Yellowstone or the Rocky Mountains where you go skiing. The only difference, our advantage is that we've got 12-month weather. So let me give you my little speech on our market. So we're in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, right? We're on the Tennessee side of the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. And the 2 main towns are Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. Pretty famous. They're very small, actually, for tourist towns. There's really only, I don't know, maybe Avery, my wife would know the exact number. But I don't know. If I had to guess, I'd say somewhere around, 10,000 people that live there. It's a really small area. But we are the number 1 visited national park in the country times 4. We get 12 million visitors a year to the Great Smoky Mountains.
Jeez.
Number 2 in the country is the Grand Canyon at 3 million.
Wow.
So we get 4 times as many as the number 2 tourist attraction, national park. I'm only talking national parks here. I'm not talking like Disney World or anything like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Owned by the government, sanctioned by the government, controlled by the government, national parks, Yellowstone, Mount Rushmore. I don't even think that's a national park, but now I don't have my computer in front of me. I'm going to sound like an idiot. But anyway, and I'll tell you right now, the reason for that is because we don't get snow, man. You're coming to the mountains. You want to go hiking, you can do that in February where we are, because you can drive your car all the way up. I mean, no, there are exceptions. We are going to get snow, maybe an inch or a half an inch, like 3 times a year, and most of the time that's gone by noon. So anyway, there are exceptions. You do need to that does come into play with management. We don't offer refunds for weather. If you don't have 4-wheel drive, it's not my problem, and obviously I'm nicer to their faces. But here's the thing, man, in my market, and I apologize if you can hear my phone buzzing because I'm getting Airbnb bookings while we're on the phone, but
Myka does that all the time to me, so you're good.
My favorite is when you get them in front of another Airbnb host and they're like, "Oh wait, I know that buzz. I know that ring."
They start twitching and
It's a
get
different
that, start scratching.
So your Airbnbs, are all of them cabins? Because you said you have 5.
They're
right?
all cabins, yeah. They're
Nice.
cabins, and they're all on the smaller side. In my market, and I keep saying market, but as Bigger Pockets will tell you, you have got to know your market. This is the most important thing, in my opinion, in my two years of real estate investing. Got to know your market. Number 1 thing, period. So if you're in the Grand Tetons, I can't help you because I don't know what the hell's going on out there.
Right.
I can help you with little things like what towels to buy, where to buy your towels, what deadbolt to get. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe your market's using a different deadbolt than my market's using. So if the guy next to me's got a deadbolt that does X, Y, and Z, and my deadbolt is got a key, that's not going to help me out. Like if somebody comes to my cabin and they gotta get a key, they're probably going to be pretty annoyed.
Keys are so last year.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And another thing I will mention, in my market, once again, so almost every property in my Airbnb market, I should say, my vacation rental market, is managed by a property management company.
Okay.
I'm talking literally, it's well into the 90% managed by a company. These people do not want to manage these things. So most of these things, and we got about 5,000 cabins in our market, give or take. We had a terrible, tragic fire last year, right after we got into it, last November, and we lost about 1,500 cabins and 8 people died.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was all over the news. It was actually the fire. We had a drought. It was a terrible situation. We had a drought. Had not rained in like 4 months, and you got to realize all these properties have a well, right? So if you don't have rain, you can't take a shower eventually because all the water comes out of the ground. So the city's not just pumping water in, man. We're in the sticks. So it was a situation, and then next thing you know, there's these 2 little kids. I think they were like 12 and 13, messing around out in the woods with a book of matches, set the forest on fire.
Whoa.
And next thing you know, the whole town is like up in flames. 1,500 properties, and I don't know the exact number. That's off the top of my head. It was 1,500 properties were burned down, and 8 people lost their lives.
Jeez.
So it was a terrible situation, and the city, the neighborhood, the area did really well. Everybody got behind each other and chipped in, and Dolly Parton, she's born out there, so she's a big part of the area. She did a telethon thing and donated somewhere in the millions of dollars. But anyway, so we've got about 5,000 cabins, give or take, after they all burned down. And Avery, again, my wife, would know that exact number.
How big are your cabins that you rent out?
So yeah, I think that was my point. Sometimes you got to wrangle me in. In the area, you can get cabins anywhere up to $2 million. And my cabins, I like the smaller ones. I just, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just that I would prefer to rent a smaller one myself, or what it is, but mine are anywhere from 0 bedrooms to, I have one that's a 2-bedroom. Is the biggest one I've got.
Okay, so you only get studios to 2 bedrooms.
Yes, I prefer the smaller ones. Yeah, I've got. Okay, so here's another thing about my market. So you can have. It's hard to explain, because we're on a septic system. So the septic system kind of declares how many bedrooms you have, more so than like doors and closets. And let's say I've got a 1-bedroom with a loft upstairs. I'm renting it as a 2-bedroom.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? Even though there's no doors on the loft upstairs, there's a bed up there. So on Airbnb, it's a 2-bedroom. I've got 3 of those. But technically, if I were to go to sell them, you got to have a door and a closet.
Sell them as a
bedroom in the state of Tennessee. So you have to sell it as a 1-bedroom, exactly.
Yeah, same in Texas. So from like your small units to your big units, how much do you charge per night for each unit?
I change prices every day, but the smaller ones, and I highly suggest that, especially to anybody brand new starting out, the more you're on there changing your prices, the better things are going to be. Now, and I'll answer your question in a second here. Sorry, I go on tangents. So sometimes you're going to run into this problem. Like, let's say you got a studio. It's a little honeymoon joint, right? Holds 2 people. Might hold 2 people and a kid on a sleeper couch or whatever. Let's just say it's a honeymoon booking 4 nights with 2 people, okay. And they book it at $99 a night, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day I go on there and I notice I've got 6 nights empty in the month of January. So I do a little special and I go, $79. Everything left in the month of January, and I'll put that in my headline, right? $79 January special. There is the rare occasion where the dude who just booked for $99 sees that headline because he went back to your booking. And then he's like, wait a minute, I just paid $20 more a night. So that's something that, this is just getting nitty-gritty into the management side of things. But if that does happen, I'm just like, well, you're more than welcome to cancel those nights that you have for $99 and book these other random nights for $79 because you're not going to want those nights anyway.
Yeah.
The problem when you get in that situation is you're already creating a tense situation, and that is probably going to lead you down a road of ass kissing galore to get a good review. Because as you guys know, the reviews are everything.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, sounds like Steve has a little review story.
I would love to hear your story. You were like,
4-star.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve, because Steve wrote down some stuff. Go ahead.
I did, and I've got a couple 4 stars before. Like I just started, but my percentage was pretty high, 86%.
Yeah.
The last guest that left, oh man, I let it affect me. I said I'm not gonna let this affect me. It's a business, whatever. I don't know. These people were nitpicky as hell. The most nitpicky guests I had, and what frustrated. Okay, but they gave me a good review online, right? Oh, it was a great place, great for musicians. We enjoyed doing art there because my place is kind of like I call it Art House Hearst. I got stuff people can make art with. They got art on the walls. They got music. They got guitars and stuff. And so, anyways, it's not a super high end place, but it's cool. It's got cool stuff. Myka's been there. It's a nice house, and it's not freaking Haverty's furniture and stuff. Anyways, it pisses me off when I talk about this story.
Yeah, but go ahead, man.
oh man, you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah. I left them a good review. They left the house, decent shape, whatever. The previous guests, that's a different story. That was a whole. Yeah, they partied there pretty hard. Anyways, these guests, they left it in good shape. And I left them a great review. They left me a good review online, said everything was great, good place, good location, blah, blah, blah. And then left me a 3-star review. And I was like, what? And so I read, and he was just nitpicking everything. He talked about water pressure. He talked about, inside, and the cupboards weren't as clean as they could be. My wife cleans. And, but he was just nitpicking over little small things,
Mm-hmm.
And he left a 3-star for that. I was like, what pisses me off the most is I got my house price pretty low, I think he averaged $78 a night staying there, and this is a 3-bedroom, almost like a 4-bedroom house, and he's getting a great deal. So I think I think guests should at least factor that into their review, right? Yeah, if I went to the Taj Mahal and then there was little bitty things here and there, I'd leave a bad review. But I'm paying $1,000 a night. But if I'm gonna stay at someone's place, I'm getting a great deal. I'm not gonna go and give them a damn 3-star review. You know what I'm saying?
I had a guest get lippy with me.
I got lippy with you.
Yeah, I got a little lippy with me.
Oh, what happened? Let's hear Myka's story. I just had to get that out, man.
No, okay. I gave. So this lady booked one of my timeshares down in, I don't even know where she was at anymore. I got too much stuff going on. So she booked it. And Airbnb tells you if you book a room, you can't send other people. So comes to find out, she sent some other people. So my door guy, he calls me. He's like, hey, man, they sent some other people here. It's not the woman that's on your reservation. And so I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, I'm not letting her in. I'm not letting these people in. So she sends me a message on Airbnb. She's like, oh, the people that's there, that's my husband and my kids and these other people. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. So I tell my guy, I'm like, all right, they're good. Let them in. So he lets them in. And then, she asked about the Wi-Fi, which I had already given her the Wi-Fi passcode. And I told her, hey, sometimes the Wi-Fi is limited because I have other people there, and it might go over the maximum number of users. And then she sends me a message, and she goes, yeah, your Wi-Fi had the maximum number of users, but thanks for the little gesture, but why do you even send it out if you know that the people it's going to be maxed out? I'm like, I told you in the listing, but I was like, okay. I didn't even respond to it. I was like, I'm just going to let it slide. So
the high road.
Yeah, I took the high road, man, and I was like, all right, I'll just leave her a 1-star review because you sending other people to my... See, because when she asked me, I was going to send her a screenshot of Airbnb's little policy that you can't send other people, but I was like, I'll take the high road. I did it twice with this lady, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, they get a little lippy, man. I had a couple lippy guests. How about you, Lucas? You have any lippy guests?
Dude, I'll tell you, that's the worst, man. They call that a third-party booking. when they book for somebody else. But it's the worst when you give them the benefit of the doubt and you give them a good review, and then they just crush you on their review.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, man, because I totally wanted to give you 2 stars, but I was trying to be nice. And then,
to give you 2 stars.
You know, sometimes I'll feel bad, man. I'll go back and forth, and then I'll bounce stuff off the wife, off Avery too. Like if they really suck, you know, or like they just kind of take advantage of you. And you know who's the worst? You know who's the worst? Listen, I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but superhosts are the worst guests.
Are you serious?
Ever. They're the worst.
I haven't actually. You know what? Go ahead, because I have a story behind that. Go ahead.
Every time I get a superhost, I'm telling you, they just rip us apart. They rip us apart. And not only that, but they're super nice to our face. Like, they constantly message and constantly text, which is fine. That's part of the business, man. You know, a lot of it, I feel like a lot of it has these folks, it's almost like a social thing for them. Oh, I stayed in an Airbnb. You know, it's way cooler than a hotel. It's a social thing. And they want to make friends with their host, and that's cool, man. I'll totally be friends with you. You think my property's awesome? I think you're awesome. And the next thing you know, and I can see it going through their eyeballs too. They come in my house, and they're looking around. I'm just telling you that they're hosting their own house wherever it may be. I don't know, Cincinnati. I have no idea. And they come down to the mountains for the weekend with their friends, and they're looking around my house, and they're the only thing they can think. And I do this myself. I'm guilty of it. I handle it differently, though. But they look around the house, and they say, this is what I would do different. This is what I would do different. I would do this different, and this is what I would do different over here. And they just are never happy. They just, like, scrutinize every little tiny detail. And
they're telling you that as they're walking through.
No, I can just hear it going through their brain, you know, like over the text messages. I never meet these people. I live 3 hours away.
Yeah.
You know, I do make friends with some of them. We get a lot of repeat customers, people coming back, and that's awesome. You know, we definitely treat them with a little extra, you know. Or if I know it's their anniversary or they're having we get a lot of honeymoons, so we'll give them a little gift basket or a bottle of champagne, stuff like that. But yeah, man, super hosts. Every time I see them coming, I'm just like, oh man, this is going to be a pain in my butt.
Now, if they left you a 4-star, would you let them come back again?
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me answer it like this. So one time, I think it was my first repeat customer, and he wasn't even coming back to the same property. He was coming back to a different property, but he remembered us as hosts, and he clicked on our profile, and because I think the one that he stated the first time was already booked. And man, I wish I could. I think his name was Tom. I know it starts with a T. This is how much, dude. We've had a lot of bookings, but there's some that just you never forget, you know. So this dude, I went back through the reservations, and I found his original reservation, and I saw he gave me 4 stars the first time. You know what I did? I was at dinner with Avery. Avery's the boss, right? She's the queen of the mountain. And I'll tell you more about her in a minute, but I was at dinner on a Saturday night with Avery, and I was, for whatever reason, I just obsessed. And I was going through the reviews, and I saw that this Tom gave me 4 stars like 8 months earlier. I called his ass at 10 o'clock at night, and I go, hey, is this Tom? I don't even remember his name. Let's just call him Tom, right? I know it started with a T.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, is this Tom? And he goes, yeah, who's this? I'm like, it's Luke. You're staying in my cabin next week. And he goes, well, what can I do for you? And I'm like, well, I noticed you gave me 4 stars last time you were here. He goes, I'm at a work dinner right now. Can we talk about this later? I'm like, yeah, I'd appreciate it if you call me tomorrow.
Damn.
So
that's awesome.
Because I'm not putting up with it, dude. If you want to come back, listen, I put my heart and soul into my houses, like for real.
Yeah.
Everything smells good. I've got the best towels. I get the biggest TVs I'll go and measure the wall, and I will find the biggest TV that will fit on that wall within a quarter of an inch.
Oh, wow.
I'll just, we go over the top, man. We just make sure that everything is, and they're not high end. We're not high end stuff. You know, the purchase prices are pretty low.
Yeah.
They're modest houses, but we just make sure that we go over the top. You know, we've got a coffee maker and a Keurig in all of them. We've got fancy sheets. We just make sure that everything is nice as we can get. So Tom texts me the next day, or sends me an Airbnb message the next day, and he goes, "Hey, I'll read you loud and clear. I can tell you care about your properties. I can guarantee it's going to be a 5-star review."
Oh, that's
so
cool. That's cool.
I'm like, all right, point taken. And you know what? You know what else is the kicker? I sent him a message, and I go, "Do you know why you gave me 4 stars?" And he goes, "I think it's because you didn't have any silverware." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, that wasn't my house, dude." Because this guy was an avid traveler.
Oh,
he had
mistook...
50 reviews or something. So he got me confused with somebody else's house.
Hey, that's happened to me. And a girl, she left me a bad, not really a bad review. It was like a 4-star. And then she texts me. She's like, "Oh man, I didn't mean to leave that on your Airbnb." She goes, "I've been staying at Airbnbs the last week." And yeah, that happened to me before too. And I didn't even waste time going to get it taken down. I was just like, it's 4 stars. Who cares? But
now, can they go back and change that?
I think they could because she typed it up in on the what's it called, the community center. I've heard people saying they've complained and they've got certain reviews taken down because it wasn't an authentic review.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you can do that. They can't go back and change their reviews, but if they say something that was, and like if you catch her in that situation and you get it on the Airbnb Messenger so they can look at it, and she's like, "Oh, that was some other house that I stayed at," they'll take it down for that reason, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But they can't. The guests can't go back and change their review, just like you can't go change. Like if you give a 5-star and they give you a 3, you can't go change yours to a 2.
Yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah, it's set in stone.
Dang,
it's set in stone.
Yeah, so back to your studio, your cabins. So like, what's the minimum you'll go? Is there like a minimum price you'll go on certain sizes?
Yeah, so 69 is a bad idea on my little baby cabins. I've got 2, one that I own and one that I'm managing for a buddy. But we're partners, and he's a cool guy. He's been in the vacation rental business since before Airbnb existed. He's got condos in Florida, and he's been doing it for like 12 years or 15 years. I don't know. He started like the year Airbnb got going, whenever that was. So anyway, yes, I find that in my little baby cabin, 69 is kind of a bad idea. Anywhere in the 70, 79 is kind of the lowest I can go without getting bad guests.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like people that are just going to trash it. They are staying one night. They're going to do, drink or do drugs or something random and just kind of not respect it and end up leaving me a crappy review because they're never going to use Airbnb again. Mm-hmm. Because there's a hotel room right down the street for $100. So why are they staying in my entire house for $70? Because they're cheap and they're broke and they're probably going to trash it.
That's true.
Exactly.
So yeah, 70 is kind of my limit on the little baby ones.
Okay.
How big are the little baby ones?
The littlest one is 600 square feet.
600 square feet. Real quick, because you're getting me wanting to buy a cabin over there in the Smoky Mountains. How much could I buy a 600 square foot cabin for? So this is another. You're going to have to get Avery, my wife, the Queen of the Mountains, on another podcast because she, somewhere along this journey, and I told you I was going to talk about her anyway, and I'll get to. When you ask me a question, I'll go down like 16 rabbit holes before I answer it, obviously. But anyway, she's the brains behind the operation. She came up with the idea to go to the mountains. She came up with the idea to get the rental in the first place. The whole thing was her idea. She's got an MBA. She's got her bachelor's from University of Texas. She's got her MBA from Belmont. She's a genius. Wow.
She's awesome. And she's young and she's hot. She's a total package. So she had a big job at a marketing, at a music company doing marketing. And she, after we got like our 4th house, I think, she said, I'm getting my real estate license. I don't want to do this day job crap anymore. Let's do this thing. And I'm like, hell yeah, why not? So now she sells cabins full time and only to people that are going to self-manage. We'll tell you straight up, like if you're going to put it with one of these property management companies out there, you're losing money. They charge 40% of the gross.
I need to get in on that.
Let's get a cabin,
man.
bro.
It's absolutely out of control.
I mean, get in on being a property manager.
Oh, property manager.
Well, and remember what I told you a minute ago. Somewhere in the 90% of the owners in my market are using these property managers.
Wow.
It's out of control. And then when your toilet breaks, they send their guy and charge you $350 to fix a flapper that may or may not be broken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're just scamming everybody.
Yeah.
But so, that's our thing. Like if you want to self-manage, you gotta, you have to be able to dedicate a little bit of time to it and care about your property.
Right.
We'll teach you everything. We do everything, man. I've got handyman, I've got cleaning crews, and I've got multiples of everything. I got like 6 HVAC guys. I got an HVAC guy that'll come at 3 in the morning. We've got everything. Everything it's all about systems, man. With vacation rentals, it's all about systems, especially when they're not in your area. We're 3.5 hours down the road. I got somebody that says, "Oh, your HVAC went out. It's 2:00 in the morning and it's 42 degrees in this house." I can't wait till the next day.
Yeah.
I got to have somebody that can go there right now, and I have to have somebody that I can trust that'll go there right now, because these guys out there in the mountains, these are mountain people, man. These are mountain people, and God bless them. I love them. But they're going to say, "Oh, you're a rich guy who lives in Arizona? It just costs you $700 for a $28 park."
Oh, dang.
Because what are you going to do? You've got no choice.
Screwed.
You're screwed. There's nothing you can do about it. You got to get it done, or that person's going to. Now, in the rich Arizona guy's case, he doesn't care about the bad review because they're not. These property managers aren't even using Airbnb. They're using like grandmascabin.com.
Yeah.
Old school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm crushing them.
Yeah. I can't even get it out of my mouth fast enough. Yeah.
I'll answer your question. So, 600 square foot, a little baby cabin in this market. The market's high right now. I'm not gonna lie, it's super high from where we started.
Yeah.
But if you're lucky, and you talk to Miss Avery, the Queen of the Mountain, she's got. You need to talk to her, because when it comes to these little baby ones, it's similar to a condo in Florida. Wait.
That's you're doing the radio people. They always give us a tease, and we'll tell you the price right after this commercial.
Let me tell you why this is the greatest pillow ever made.
Now, you know what? If you want to leave the price hanging there, I'm fine with it. Because listen, just hear me out. She can be our first.
Go ahead.
She can be our first real advertiser on the show, and this is what we get out of this. We'll put her company on blast, y'all's company on blast, and you already got people at the edge of their car seat waiting. Oh, what's the price? Well. If you want to know the price, on the show notes there'll be a phone number directly to
Carl.
Luke, and your wife's name is Avery. Yeah,
Avery.
They'll hook you up. They'll show you the whole ins and outs of this game, And you're asking, what does LLT get out of this? Well, we get hooked up on a good price on a cabin. What are you talking about?
You're damn right. Now listen. Now that being said, I'm sure all your listeners are smart enough to figure out Realtor.com. So
you just blew it.
Here's what I'm trying to say. So when it comes to the little baby ones are harder to get into, and I'm going to tell you right now, Avery says this all the time. Oh, poor me. It's my job to sell people log cabins in the mountains, because she's selling people something they want, man. It's not.
Piece of paradise.
Now, that being said, a lot of them don't have the guts, or they're like, oh what is this Airbnb? I got to get an app on my phone. They don't get it.
Right.
So anyway, my point is, if you want a cabin in the mountains, it's a lot easier to get into a 600 square foot one that is inexpensive than a 3-bedroom one that's going to be somewhere in the $350,000 area. So my point is, the little baby ones have more competition.
I see. That's
So
why, yeah.
you've got a big giant pool of people who want to own a cabin in the mountains trying to get these little baby ones because they're inexpensive. You've only got, maybe 25% of that's looking at a 3-bedroom because you got to have much more cake to get into a bigger cabin.
Oh yeah.
Now, that being said, again, to just reiterate my point in a different way, the 3-bedroom is not going to rent as much as the little 600 square foot baby cabin.
Wow.
So that's even more competition.
Wow.
It's even more competition. Everybody wants the little baby ones, unless you're like a doctor and you just want to take the family there for the holidays. Then you get the 3-4 bedroom, and you rent it out like 60% occupancy, and you don't care because you got dough. You don't even care about paying the rent, paying the mortgage.
Yeah.
But these little baby ones, so I've got 6 people coming on my vacation with me. I need a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom. Okay, that circumstance happens. What? I don't know. 25% of the time, 10% of the time, small percentage, right? There's always at least 2 people in your party, so there's going to be a 2-person party all the time, and then it goes up from there, and the percentages go down bookings wise. So like if you go from 2 to 4, or 2 to 3 with a kid, or 2 to 4 with 2 kids, then you go to 2 couples. Then you go to 2 couples with 1 kid each. That's six people. See what I'm saying? The bigger the party gets, the less percentage of bookings your house is going to get. So the smaller ones are easier to book, and they're easier to get into money-wise. There's just not that many of them. There's a feeding frenzy for the little one. So when a little one pops up, let's say it's 100 and let's just say you get lucky and something pops up on the MLS and you've got a good real estate agent. That's what it's all about. This business is all about relationships. And this little baby cabin pops up for, let's just say 140, 145. You've got 16 people making offers on this thing.
Yeah, bidding it up.
So they're bidding it up, and you got, of those 16 people, I'm just making that number up, dude. Totally making numbers up, but 2 or 3 of those guys probably have a suitcase full of cash. So if you ain't got a suitcase full of cash, you either got to bid up $20,000 more than the guy that's got the suitcase full of cash, or you ain't getting it. And even at $20,000, the guy might say, you know what, I'm still taking the cash. It's like playing Monopoly.
Yeah.
So one
but
question.
Anyway, so
go ahead.
You can get into a little baby cabin for in the 140 area.
Okay.
You rent it for $100 a night, 25 nights a month. That's $2,500 without the cleaning fee. With the cleaning fee, you're looking somewhere around, I don't know, $3,000, $3,200, if you really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So earlier you were talking about like when Airbnb fails or the internet fails. What precautions have you put forth just in case that does happen? And like what other methods are you using for advertising?
See, that's man, you guys got good questions. So I can't prepare for that. The only way I can prepare for that is to have a badass property that people are going to want to stay in no matter what the advertising situation may be. And when Airbnb goes down or the internet goes down, I mean, dude, there's been cabins in the mountains since way before the internet existed. Mm-hmm. People have been renting condos on the beach. Or not necessarily condos, but people have been renting properties on the beach for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
There have been vacation properties, vacation homes on the beach since the beach existed.
Yeah.
Which is forever. You see what I'm saying? So, 1600s, there was some hut on a beach somewhere that dude was like, hey, man, I got to go walk 16 miles today to go find some coconuts. I'll let you borrow my hut on the beach. It's got a great view. You can hang out there with your cave woman for 2 coconuts.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like, there's always going to be a demand for a good property. So when the internet goes down, that's never going to happen. Let's be realistic. The internet's going to be around. But if something weird happens, my properties are badass. They got good views. They're in a great area where there's a lot of tourist traffic. The local economy thrives on it. It's not like Nashville, dude. Nashville, you want to Airbnb something in Nashville? Good luck. You got to have a permit, and you are not getting a permit. It's just not going to happen, man. You can't get a permit here.
Wow.
New York City, same thing. San Diego, same thing. And it's going to happen in more and more big cities. And I think it should. You know, if I've got an apartment building with 28 units, and I find out that Joe Blow is renting out apartment 6C for 2 nights at a time to idiots that are coming to town to get drunk because he's not managing it properly. You know, and I'm not saying that every host is doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that. You know, there's a lot of good hosts out there that won't allow that, which is awesome. But eventually, the dude that owns the building is going to get so many complaints from the guy in 7B and 6 and C, you know, whatever, the units right next door to this guy that's Airbnb this shit, that he's going to say, okay, that's enough of that. And not to mention, you're supposed to be renting this from me. I'm supposed to be the one making money. And you're in here making money?
Yeah.
No, this is not going to fly. You know, and it happens all the time. And then, you know, back to the sales tax thing, but now I'm just rambling.
Well, Myka owns a condo, and he used to Airbnb it, and they actually, a lot of people Airbnb'd out of there because it was right by the Cowboys Stadium and all that. And they were one of the guys was running an illegal prostitution ring out of his Airbnb.
Yeah. So, yeah, so we got everybody shut down.
So they shut the whole thing. You're dealing with an HOA situation, though, yeah?
Exactly. So the HOA shut everybody down.
They shut you down, too?
Yeah, everyone who was doing Airbnb.
So how do you rent it now?
Corporate. Airbnb money with no work.
Corporate rental.
What'd you say?
You put it with the front desk?
What?
You put your property with the front desk at the unit?
No. I just rent it out corporately. I listed on like corporate housing sites, and I get corporate renters in there. They're willing to pay a high amount.
No kidding.
Yeah, they're willing to pay a high amount of money, like double or triple the rent, just for it being furnished. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So
See,
also,
in my opinion, that's one of the things that Airbnb does wrong, man. They kind of promote that behavior. And correct me if you don't agree with me. I'm totally cool with you. You know,
go ahead. Your
opinion, but it's like, dude, you know, prostitution, and then meanwhile, I'm getting messages on my app that say you should. I know you got hookers in there, but you should probably lower your prices.
On the hookers or on the property?
Airbnb wants you to lower your prices on everything. Lower the prices on the chicks and on the property. And 10 minutes later, we're going to say, hey, your prices are still too high.
Bambi, we're going to have to have a talk.
And then we're going to say, oh, you should probably lower your booking. Crap. I had a good joke going there, and then I blew it.
So speaking of prices,
your strict, moderate. What do you call that?
The moderate cancellation.
Cancellation.
Yeah.
That plays a huge part in where you're ranked, man. I just realized that. Like, you go up 153% if you have moderate cancellation.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, it's huge. Like, I looked into that. I didn't know that.
I got flexible, so I'm way at the top.
You haven't turned that off yet?
No.
Oh, you might want to turn that off, man.
You've got what now?
I got flexible.
Oh.
I don't use that.
I've only had 2 cancellations, though.
What'd you say?
Flexible is the lowest one, or
The lowest, yeah, where they get all their money back like 24 hours before they can cancel 24 hours before.
Yeah.
But I've had 2 cancellations, and one of them they actually did it. It was less than the 24-hour window, so I got paid for the first day, and the other one, yeah, they did it before, like 5 days before, but I still got renters in there, anyways. So it worked out good.
Yeah. See, I did that recently. They shot me with this thing that said you'll get 287% more bookings if you switch it to moderate or switch it to flexible, because I was on strict. And I switched it to moderate. I didn't get any more bookings, and then the holidays rolled around, and next thing you know, I got all these cancellations because everybody's like, turns out my family can't come for the holidays.
They're holding your place hostage.
Exactly. Yeah, they're holding it hostage because those dates are blocked, man. I can't get other people looking at it. But it worked out fine because it was similar to you. I ended up getting them booked.
You know what?
The sob stories. Oh, I broke my arm. I can't come.
Oh, yeah.
And then they can get a full refund.
I like family emergency. That's my favorite.
Family emergency. The family emergency was I couldn't pay my credit card bill.
So when you were saying something earlier, you said superhosts are the worst guests. The funny part is I went through my notes because I was going to talk about this week, and I have noticed they do. People that are hosts that stay at other people's Airbnbs, they think they're supposed to run your Airbnb like you run theirs. And like this lady, Steve always says I always take the high road, but I took the low road with this lady. She so I purposely keep my weekends open, like if they're open, but you have to stay 2 nights. But I have it so you can stay 1 night, because you can stay 1 night if one of the weekend nights is gone. Like if Friday and Saturday available, you have to take the 2. But if Saturday's all booked and Friday's available, you can stay Friday.
Oh, nice.
So this lady, she tried to book just the Friday, but they were both available. And I said, hey, there's a 2-night minimum stay on weekends, whatever. So she sends me back this little message, being kind of arrogant, whatever. She goes, oh, thanks for letting me know. You should just change your... No, she goes, I'm an Airbnb superhost, and you should just change your policy because I know you can change it to 2-night minimum stay on the weekends. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, I already know this, right? So I ain't gonna lie. I typed the most asshole response, and like Mahogany just busted up laughing at it. She was like, dang. I was like, hold on. Let me actually just pull it up. Tell you what I wrote.
Hear how
pull it up.
Went scorched earth on this lady.
Yeah. I scorched her. I just went all out. I was like, how do I say this in the most asshole way possible? I got too many messages coming in. But no, pretty much I just said, oh, thank you. I didn't, thank you. I was like, because I clicked on her list and she has 1 list. And I was like, oh, thank you. I was like, I'm sorry, but I managed 350 listings, so I'll try to get that updated for you. Thank you. So I was a complete asshole. I was a complete asshole.
You just dropped the mic on her.
Yeah. My wife, Mahogany, was like, "Oh, I don't think she's gonna respond to that." I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that way, but like you're right. Those people that are hosts, they're really, when they go to other people's Airbnbs, they think that they're in charge or something. I don't know.
Dude, we stayed at one in our market. It was me and my partner and his wife and my wife, and we couldn't. Ours were all booked. I think we had like 3 at the time, and we were going out there last minute. So we found one. It ended up being on VRBO, and my buddy that owns the condos in Florida, he's been doing this forever, and he booked it. And it was a nice place. It was like it was built by the same guy that built one of mine. So I was very familiar with the property, like the builder and where it was, and the view was beautiful. But you walked in this place and half the light bulbs are burned out. It smells like dog pee.
Oh no!
The stove didn't work.
The
grill didn't work. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. But my point is, we didn't leave a bad review. We just said, you know what, here you go, 5 stars. Thanks for the stay. We didn't get the details. There's no point, man. Just let these people live their lives and go on about their business.
Right. That's true. But give them private feedback, right?
Yeah, we called her.
Okay.
And we said, your stove doesn't work, your grill doesn't work. You might want to get somebody over here to look at this thing, but we're still gonna give you a good review.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I still haven't stayed in the Airbnb yet. I still need to hop on that just to get the experience.
Do it, man.
Because I can't
stay at one of his in Smoky Mountains.
Yeah, I need to go out there because I get a lot of people.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. It is so awesome. We're out there. We're out there every chance we get. We love it so much.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
I want to. What excites me about it is there's like whiskey tours over there.
Well, so you can do the trail. That's in Kentucky now. So in our market, we've got Moonshine.
Oh, nice.
Which they legalized 4 years ago, and they've got these distilleries where you walk in. There's about 6 of them, and most of them are like right next door to each other. And you walk in, and they give you a wristband. You pay $5, and they give you 14 shots of moonshine.
Oh my God, 14 shots.
Yeah, 14 shots, and then if you buy a bottle, they give you your $5 back. So it's like $20 for a bottle, and so it's only $15. And then you go to the place next door, and you give them $5, and they give you 14 shots of moonshine. So next thing you know, you're seeing triple. You're like, oh man, it just goes from, and the mountains are right there too. So it's pretty awesome.
Shortest tour ever.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, how do I get back to my Airbnb?
That's pretty cool, man. So you are you a whiskey fan though? Because I think Tennessee and I think whiskey for some reason.
Yeah, absolutely, big time.
And okay, and here's a very important question. What the hell is the difference between whiskey and bourbon?
So technically, legally, do you know this answer? You really asking?
I've heard of something before, but I forgot.
Okay, so technically, and this is coming from a guy who is right now in his house about 8 miles from the Kentucky border. So bourbon, and you can Google this, and your Google's going to give you a better answer than I am, but bourbon has to come from Bourbon County, Kentucky. There's a county in Kentucky called Bourbon County. And if it's not, now there are exceptions. There's Tennessee bourbons and stuff like that. But if you go way back in time, as far as booze is concerned, technically it's like Scotch has to come from Scotland, right?
Right.
Bourbon has to come from Bourbon County, Kentucky.
Huh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it's also a way to make whiskey. It has a lot to do with the barrel. You heard of bourbon barrels, right? So the barrel is a different type of barrel than it would be for like a Canadian whiskey or a Tennessee whiskey. Like Jack Daniels is from Tennessee. It's from Lynchburg. No, Lynchburg is in Kentucky. If Avery was here, she'd tell you. Where is that? Anyway, about an hour and a half southeast of Nashville is where Jack Daniels is from, which is funny because it's a dry county.
Wow.
Yeah, you go to the tour of the Jack Daniels distillery. They'll give you a shot, but you leave there and you can't have. It's illegal to drink in the entire county.
Wow.
So if you get a bottle of Jack Daniels at the Jack Daniels distillery, you can't open it and drink it in that county. You'll get arrested.
Really?
What's the name of that town? Google that. Anyway, so yeah, Bourbon County. Now, you can get bourbons from other parts of the world these days because they adopted that Bourbon County way of making whiskey. But technically, if it doesn't come from Bourbon County, Kentucky, it's not a bourbon. Like Jim Beam is technically a bourbon. Evan Williams, which is cheap, but it is a bourbon. Bullet, that's a pretty good one. I suggest trying that one out. Woodford Reserve, Maker's Mark. No, yeah, Maker's Mark's bourbon, right?
Right. I think.
Anyway, Yeah, so that's now. Again, I'm no expert, but I do live 10 minutes from Kentucky, and if it doesn't come from Bourbon County, Kentucky, it's not bourbon.
So in order to go on those, what do they call the tours, the trail or whatever? That's on the Kentucky side?
That's on the Kentucky side, yes.
Okay. So y'all are moonshine tours.
We don't do tours. It's just it's a distillery. You go in there and then you go to the one next door. They don't like take you from place to place. You got to take yourself.
And you don't go blind from drinking it.
Okay, so
I always heard that back in the day. Drink moonshine, you go blind.
You guys got the right dude, man. I tended bar for like 15 years. So moonshine technically is a corn liquor that you literally make in your backyard, basically with still, right?
Yeah.
So it's always been illegal because there was no way to regulate it. But okay, so they made it legal in Sevier County, which is where my cabins are, about 4 years ago. But you still have to have a permit. It's no different than making a name brand whiskey. But there's like these there's two big ones. There's Old Smoky and Sugarlands, and you just walk in there and you can see the stills literally right there behind the glass. You can smell it. It smells like corn, and it smells like booze corn. And now the stuff about going blind is like they call that like white lightning stuff, right? So it's like literally nothing but corn hooch, and it's like 100% alcohol, like 200 proof, right?
God,
that stuff's not legal. The highest proof they have at the places in our market in Nashville or in Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, they do have them up to like 60%, which is like 120 proof. And those things, those will burn the nose hairs all out of your nose for sure. And when you do the tasting, when you do the 14-shot tasting, there's only about 2 or 3 of those, depending on which distillery you go to. There's only about 2 or maybe 3 of those real deal high liquor, high alcohol content moonshines. And the funny thing about it is when you go to do those tastings, whether you take your grandma there or what, they hit you with those 3 heavy duty ones first.
Oh wow!
So it's crazy. You're like, what in the hell? I just literally burned my nose on this. But then they get fruity. Then they start turning into like more like a fireball kind of thing. A lot of sugar in them.
Yeah, yeah.
They got like peach and maple bacon and cinnamon and they got this. My favorite one is peppermint, but they just changed the name. Mint Condition is my favorite one. It used to be just peppermint. Now they changed it to Mint Condition. I think that's a band or a group from the '80s or something.
Mint Condition.
Anyway,
yeah, sounds like it, right?
Yeah, I think they had a couple of songs in like the '80s, but I might be wrong. But anyway.
Well, that's cool, man. I like talking whiskey and hooch and moonshine and all that stuff. Makes me want to take a shot right now.
Go for it.
Oh, you've hooked up friends so y'all manage how many listings do y'all manage total? Other people's listings?
So we've got 5 total that we manage on Airbnb and VRBO.
Okay, cool. And that's those other like friends of yours, or how did you come across those people?
So 3 of them we own together, my wife and I, and then 2 of them I own with a partner who he's got a lot of properties, and most of his properties are vacation rentals, and they're in Florida condos. And we just kind of met through the grapevine. It wasn't on Bigger Pockets, wasn't even on the internet.
That's right.
He's a rock and roller. I think I met him through like a rock and roll festival or something like that. I don't know. Here's what happened with that. It was kind of a funny story. This is why you should always talk about real estate.
Yeah.
I was just hanging out with a bunch of people that I've hung out with a million times, and for whatever reason, I started talking about deadbolts. And this dude who I've hung out with like a million times, who I would never expect to own like $600,000 condos, was like, yeah, I've got that same deadbolt. What are you talking about deadbolt? I'm like, well, why do you have that deadbolt? He's like, because I've got a condo in Florida that I rent out. Next thing you know, we're going into business together. You know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So and Bigger Pockets will tell you that all the time. Just talk about it, and it's totally true. You know, the more you talk about it, and most people are going to look at you like you're crazy. Oh my God, you rent out a house with you're going to lose all your money, and you're like my parents. You know, you're going to lose all your money, and your house is going to burn down. People just don't get it, but eventually, you know, you talk about it enough, you'll find the right folks, just like you guys.
Yeah,
that's true.
And you know, it's funny, like you say that. Like I told a few people at my job what I was doing. I told them I was moving. They're like, "Wow, you already," you know, because I have an original house in Arlington, and we moved to Hearst, which is like 20 minutes away. And then we were there for a year, and then we moved back to Arlington, got another house. We did the house hacking thing, and my buddies are like, "Wow, you're moving again? What for?" "Oh, I'm gonna rent this one out, you know, like the first one, but I'm gonna do Airbnb." And some of them I've used Airbnb. You know, some of them have heard about it, others didn't know what it was. And then and they started asking questions, and I was telling them what it was. You know, rent it out short term, people coming to town, whatever. You know, oh no, screw that, man! I don't want no one messing up my house. What if you rent it out and an axe murderer comes over or starts saying all that crap, you know? But like now, it's like a lot of people at work. Hey, man, you're doing that Airbnb, right? Like, yeah, I heard. Well, we've heard you're killing it, you know. I'm like, well, I mean, I'm doing pretty good, you know. It's like, and so they're getting interested. They're getting interested, and they're asking me, well, I think I want to buy a house and do Airbnb on it. Well, I was like, well, it's not that easy, you know. You gotta, you know, there's a lot of things you got to do, but I mean, it's a good idea. It's a way to make money. And I tell them, this is what I tell them. I said, I would suggest, I mean, especially if there's like a single dude or whatever at my work, I said, just try renting out one room out of your house, Airbnb, and see how that works. See if you like it. And then you could, like, you know, jump into getting you a house just for that purpose. And so, no, I don't want nobody in my house. I don't want nobody in my house, you know. But I think slowly but surely they're coming around to it. And they're seeing, I mean, They asked me how I'm doing. I show them my phone. I said, look, making pretty good money. Wow, man, I want to do it. I suggest them do it, you know, or at least dip your toe in and rent a room or something, or a futon or a hammock, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or a closet.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Dude. Absolutely. Right now, I'm looking for more long-term rentals. I love the vacation rentals. I love them. I love going staying in them. That's another thing I suggest. If you're going to own vacation rentals, Airbnb, one of my best suggestions, go stay in it as much as you can, because when the guest starts yakking at you about, this shower, I can't get the faucet in the bathroom to work, or whatever it is, you know, the more you stay in it, the more familiar you are with it, the better you can answer all their questions and really just kind of put out the fire. You know, like if they say, "Oh, I can't figure out how to put the faucet in the shower to turn it up to take a shower. It's only going on the bath." If you haven't stayed there in 6 months, you're probably not even going to know.
Exactly.
So stay there as much as you can, but at the same time, like I said, you know, when it comes to this stuff, it's totally cool to have them out of town. You know, every single one of Avery's clients it does not live. Most of her clients have never even been to their cabin.
Oh,
So
wow.
it can work. But if you want to, in my opinion, if you want to succeed, if you want to have nothing but 5-star reviews, you got to go there often, as much as possible. But to contradict myself, it's completely doable. From, you know, she's got tons of clients from California, Florida, Texas, places where, you know, like Houston and Austin, Texas, where you just priced out, man. You can't get anything, can't make any money, or even Nashville. That's how we got into this. It wasn't because we wanted to do overnight rentals. It was because we could not get anything to rent out in our market, period.
Yeah.
So we said, all right, what's our next option? Well, let's go to the mountains. We love the mountains. Buy a house out there. Oh, out there we can rent it by the night, you know. And we weren't even. It wasn't even like, oh, we would rather rent it out by the night. This is more like just this is how it works out there. And so, it just, we just love it.
That's awesome, dude. That's what it's all about, man. We've been going on for a little while. But it's been great. We got a lot of good info from you, great info from you, and great advice pointers and all that stuff. And we appreciate you so much coming on the show. And real quick, Mike, he looked like he was leaning into the mic a little bit. I'm going to interject. I was thinking, he's great. He's a great guest. It'd be cool. Yeah. I mean, maybe in the future you can hop on, BS with us in a couple episodes in the future if you want.
I would love that. You should get my wife on because she's really the brains behind the operation. But
you're just the brawn.
Well, yeah. When the toilets are broken.
Yeah, let's do that. I've actually seen your wife on the forums. I just didn't know. When you said something earlier about getting upset about the three-star review, number one, in my opinion, and I will wrap this up, but you should be upset. You should be absolutely upset about a 3-star review. It's totally exactly where you should be. If you're not upset about a 3-star review, you're in the wrong business, man.
Right, right.
It should ruin your week. A 3-star review should probably ruin your month.
Yeah, I was in the dumps, man.
But at the same time, you got to realize that take that little bit of light at the end of the tunnel and say, okay, the fact that this is bothering me means that I care, and I really, I'm really doing the right thing for my business, and I'm taking this thing the right way. Read a book called Traction. Came out I think it came out in 2017 actually. Fantastic book, totally helped me. Not that I'm trying to do my famous four here or anything, but read a book called Traction. It really helped me. It's a business book, but he's got a couple of chapters in there in this book. I can't remember the name of the guy that read it. I got a copy of it downstairs. That wrote it, but he's got a couple of chapters in there about how to not take it too personally when somebody tells you you're wrong, or more importantly, that you can't make everybody happy. And that's something that you really got to remember in this business, because it's weird. This business, you can get one dude, you can get 16 dudes in a row that say you have the most amazing property in the entire world, and then the next guy comes in there and he said this thing is the biggest piece of crap I've ever seen.
It's true, man.
It's true.
That's freaking true.
And it messes with your head, dude. It totally messes with your head. So
big time.
But anyway,
well, cool, man. Where can folks find you and your wife?
Bigger Pocket's probably the best way to go. Avery, she's a little easier to find. She's got Facebook. I don't do that social media stuff, but you can find me Lucas Carl on Bigger Pockets, and I'm always on the. Not always, about twice a week I hop on the short-term vacation rental forum on Bigger Pockets, and that's where I found you.
Yeah, I always see you on there, man.
Yeah, I try to chime in as much as I can. Sometimes I'm a little too abrasive, but sometimes there's some people on there that are a little too amateur.
You and Paul Sandhu, huh?
I love him, dude. Paul Sandhu's my favorite.
He's the funniest guy. I asked him to be on the podcast. He hasn't responded. He is hilarious.
He's got one joke. And it is the best joke ever.
Let's hear it.
You know what it is. He says he'll give like a 16-paragraph thing about this, and he's not even doing like what you and I are doing. He's renting out to factory workers, short-term. Short-term rental. There's Airbnb, there's vacation rental. He's doing short-term rental, which is a whole other thing. So, but his thing is like, oh, this is what I do, And then at the very bottom he goes, yeah, and it's cool because I don't have to pay my cleaning lady, and I get to sleep with her.
Remember when I was telling you the joke about the guy who said he pretty much lets his workers have sex with the hookers in his property?
Oh,
it was
that's
him.
The guy.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Oh yeah?
My gosh.
Yeah,
I
he
never
said,
heard that.
Oh man, read his posts, man. They are hilarious. I'm like, this dude is crazy.
That puts new meaning on what you just said, Luke.
He's funny, man. I'd like to buy him a beer someday.
this dude's
Or
hilarious.
some moonshine.
But yeah, man. But hey,
Yeah, or
thanks.
some moonshine, exactly. All right,
Yeah.
boys.
But yeah, thanks
Had a
for
great
being on the
time.
show.
My pleasure. Happy holidays. You should have wifey on at some point, Avery, Queen of the Mountains. I'm telling you, she will blow your mind.
Awesome. Let's
But,
do it in a few weeks.
Yeah, in a few weeks we'll
absolutely.
get
You guys have a good holiday season.
You
All
too.
right. You too, bro.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Later.
Bye.
All
And
right,
that was
listeners.
Lucas
Carl,
Carl or Luke
yeah.
Carl. You can
Luke
find
Carl.
him on Bigger Pockets.
Yeah.
And great episode, man. He just
Yeah, he
it's one of
does it.
those where I can just ask a question and kick my feet back and just
Yeah.
let him go. You know.
He kind of answers questions like Shaquille O'Neal, but it's all good. But it's all good.
Yes,
but hey,
sir.
we learned a lot. It was good having him on. You can find him on Bigger Pockets. You can find us at liveletthrive.com. Check out our Facebook page, which is Live Let Thrive. Email us, liveletthrive@gmail.com. Call us, 469-300-9100. And Steve, what we got?
What do we got?
Oh, never mind. That's it.
he just threw it at me. I was like, you said everything.
Oh, yes, that was it.
Yeah, man. We love doing the show, man. Leave us some reviews. Tell us how that you dig the show if you do. What?
Steve, you were just saying, actually, he was saying we want more local hosts on. So,
yes.
if
Arlington,
you're a host,
Texas.
yeah, if you're
Dallas, Fort Worth.
yeah, if you're anywhere in that area, if you want to meet us, you can hit us up on our website, hit us up on social media. You can also join our Airbnb meetup. We have a lot of people come out, man.
What's it called? Arlington Airbnb.
Yeah, the Arlington Airbnb meetup, man.
Yeah,
Check
you
us
can
out.
meet us celebrities in person. You know,
Yeah. You
Buy
want
us
to
a
meet us
beer.
now? Meet us now before we're too big, you know.
before we big time you.
Yeah, we're big timing, man. You're gonna help out the limo with shades on. Get away from us. Nah. So yeah, hit us
All
up.
right. Well, episode 35 out.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.